بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين. اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم. اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Aqaid al-Imamiyya. As you remember, we started last night discussion about dua, and then he was telling us that there are many samples of du'as that one can bring to justify the idea that dua is by itself a syllabus, a way of life. But we said this book would not be large enough to go to many examples, just few examples. The next example is this, again from Dua Kumail. فَحَبْنِي يَا إِلَهِي وَسَيِّدِي وَرَبِّي صَبَرْتُ عَلَى عَذَابِكَ فَكَيْفَ أَصْبِرُ عَلَى فِرَاقِكَ. My Lord, my Master, suppose I am able to be patient with respect to your punishment. How can I be patient with respect to being separate from you? وَهَبْنِي يَا إِلَهِي صَبَرْتُ عَلَى حَرِّ نَارِكَ فَكَيْفَ أَصْبِرُ عَنِ النَّظَرِ إِلَى كَرَامَتِكَ. And suppose, my Lord, my God, that I can be patient with respect to the heat of your fire. How can I be patient with not being able to look at your honor and generosity? Asbiru ala and asbiru an are totally different. Asbiru ala means to be patient with something which is difficult, which is negative. Asbiru an means to be patient with respect to not having something. So how can I be patient with separation? And how can I be patient with respect to not being able to look at you? Asbiru an al-nadar means not being able to look at you. So, no one can be patient and cope with the punishment of Allah. But supposedly, if it was possible for me to cope with the pain and suffering of adab, how could I be coping with pain of being far from you? This is much more painful for me. وَهَذَا تَلْقِينٌ لِلنَّفْسِ. Maybe we are not actually in that level to speak like this. One of my teachers I had said from, I don't remember, he mentioned maybe name of a scholar, if I've forgotten or he didn't mention. Anyway, he said that some people say when you reach this point of Dua Kumail, read it fast, because this is not your condition. This is not your state of speaking like this. But Sheikh Muzaffar says this is true, that this is not our caliber, but this is talqeenun lin-nafs. You say this and you are not lying to Allah subhanahu, because He knows the situation. You cannot lie to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in this way you are teaching yourself and dictating to yourself that you have to reach this point. بضرورة الالتذاذ بقرب الله تعالى, that you should enjoy nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and enjoy مشاهدة كرامته وقدرته, seeing his generosity and karam and his power, حبا له, out of love for him, وشوقا إلى ما عنده, and out of eagerness to what he has. وبأن هذا الالتزاز, and then you teach yourself, you do talqeen to yourself, dictate to yourself that this pleasure, this enjoying should reach a rank that if you don't enjoy this nearness and looking at Allah's generosity and power, the pain would be more than heat of the fire. And therefore you are not able to be patient with not looking at him. Also, these phrases make us understand أن هذا الحب والالتذاذ بالقرب من المحبوب المعبود خير شفيع للمذنب عند الله. The best shafi, the best intercessor for a sinful person to take with him to God is to take with you your love and expression of your love for him and enjoying closeness to him, so that he would forgive you. So you want to tell him that I love you, I am not able to cope with your separation, and inshallah this by itself would bring Allah's mercy to you more. ولا يخفى لطف هذا النوع من التعجب والتملق إلى الكريم الحليم قابل التوبة وغافر الذنب. The subtlety and the beauty of this way of surprise, you say to Allah, how can I do this? How can you do this? How can I be patient? How can you punish? We had in the previous phrase that يا ليت شعري أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت العظم. So this kind of ta'ajjub, this kind of expression, this kind of tamalluq, a kind of flattering, not because it doesn't deserve this, because you may not have not reached this point. Tamalluq is bad if I flatter someone by saying something that he doesn't have. So you are a very generous person, but I know that he's not a generous person. But if I say to a generous person that he is generous, and still I have not reached the level to understand fully that, it's okay. If I say to Allah, you are very kind, you have been very supportive to me, and still I have not reached that point of fully understanding that, it's okay, because you are telling the truth. This kind of flattering is good. Actually, flattering sometimes is good. For example, if you flatter your teacher, this is one of the cases that ulama say is good. Maybe flattering your parents is good. Not by lying, but maybe by emphasizing, by saying something that if it was an ordinary person, maybe you would not have said. But in the case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, certainly it's good. But as I said, you can never really, truly flatter and overdo. You think it's flattering, but this is because lack of your understanding. If you praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is important. If you praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as best as you have control over the language, still would fall short from reality, because still he deserves more praise than you. So you think maybe you are doing over those, or you overdo it, but it's not like that. There was an, Arif, or many people considered him as Arif. At least I can say he was a very mystical figure, very spiritual person in Tehran, who died a few years ago. And he was not a scholar, but he had met many scholars, and one of his teachers was Ayatollah Ansari Hamadani. So he was not, as I said, a scholar, so he didn't know like scholars, Arabic language, sarf, naf, usul. But he had some grasp because he was always in religious gatherings and, with ulama, and many of his students were, talabe, scholars. Anyway, he used to say that you do tamalluq of God, and then you would do mulaqat of God. Tamalluq and mulaqat. Mulaqat means liqa. In Arabic, mulaqat is not commonly used, but it's from the same bab mufa'ala as like liqa. Laqa yulaqi, mulaqatan, liqa'an. So in Farsi it's very common, mulaqat means to meet. So he was saying from tamalluq of God you would be able to do mulaqat of God. Of course, from Arabic point of view, these roots are different. Tamalluq is from malaqa, mulaqat is from laqiya. Roots are different. But his idea was nice. And maybe he didn't want to say that from a grammatical point of view he has reached this point. But he was putting these two words close to each other, and it was a nice idea. That first you flatter, or you feel you are flattering, but then little by little you realize, and that you would be able to reach a level of closeness which is like liqa'ullah. ولا بأس في أن نختم بحثنا هذا بإيراد دعاء مختصر جامع لمكارم الأخلاق. It's good to end our discussion about dua by bringing a brief and comprehensive dua which includes noble traits of character and many things that we need. لما ينبغي لكل عضو من الإنسان وكل صنف منه. For every part of our body, like our tongue, our hand, our feet, our eye, our ear, for every part of us, plus for every member of the society. What qualities we should have are mentioned in this dua, the famous dua that is also known as dua faraj. Sometimes dua faraj is used for Allahumma kulli waliyyak, sometimes it's used for this, sometimes for other du'as. Allahumma zuqna tawfiqa ta'ah, or dua of Imam al-Zaman. Allahumma rzuqna tawfiqa ta'ah wa bu'd al-ma'siyah wa sidq al-niyyah wa irfan al-hurmah. Of course, if you want to explain this dua, it needs few sessions. So I just translate, inshallah, maybe hoping that sometime we can, inshallah, have opportunity to have some reflections. Oh Allah, please give us. In the discussion about social wilaya, I said that most of the time we speak on behalf of all of mu'mineen and mu'minat. This is a way of training yourself to think about we and not me. Allahumma arzuqna, not Allahumma arzuqni. Tawfiq at-ta'ah, tawfiq for obedience. Tawfiq means many things are needed. When they come together, this is tawfiq. Wa bu'd al-ma'siyah, being far from sins. An honest intention. And understanding haram. What is haram? To understand it. To understand what is haram and to understand the ugliness of haram, both of them. If I know something is haram but I don't know how bad it is, still I have no ma'rifah of haram. And please honor us with guidance and persistence. Istiqamah. So KLC brothers and sisters, inshallah understand this istiqamah very well. وَسَدِّدْ أَلْسِنَتَنَا بِالصَّوَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. And please make our tongues firm and strong with what? By saying what is right and with wisdom. Wisdom is very important. It's not just telling the truth. Telling what is sawab, telling what is right to be said, not just true. And with wisdom, when, where, how much, to whom, these are all important. وَامْلَأْ قُلُوبَنَا بِالْعِلْمِ وَالْمَعْرِفَةِ. Please fill our hearts with knowledge and understanding. Knowledge of maybe general things and ma'rifah of particular things. Knowledge and acquaintance. And طَهِّرْ بُطُونَنَا مِنَ الْحَرَامِ وَالشُّبْهَةِ. Clean our stomach from haram and anything which is problematic. In Akhir al-Zaman, unfortunately, even if you are not, doing haram, it's very likely that you somehow get involved in haram. Or, money, banking, all these different types of things has made it very difficult. وَاكْفُفْ أَيْدِيَنَا عَنِ الظُّلْمِ وَالسَّرِقَةِ. Please keep away our hands from injustice and theft. Of course, theft has many different aspects. Zulm has many different aspects. Sometimes signing with a pen can be zulm, can be a sirqa. Sirqa doesn't need to rob a bank or rob someone's money. Sirqa can be sometimes by words, by writing, by different methods. Online. وَغْضُضْ أَبْصَارَنَا عَنِ الْفُجُورِ وَالْخِيَانَةِ. Please close our eyes. Bring our eyes low so that cannot see what is haram and what is betrayal. Not to do anything that displeases you, not to violate anyone's privacy, anyone's rights. وَاسْتُدْ أَسْمَاعَنَا عَنِ اللَّغْوِ وَالْغِيبَةِ. Please also close our ears with respect to anything which is lagw. Lagw means useless. No benefit is coming from that. It can be sometimes also in word of insult, offense, that some people say, إِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. But generally speaking, lag means something which is not beneficial. And also backbiting. I don't want to hear backbiting. It's not just not saying it, not also hearing it. Now, for different groups of people, this was about different parts of a person. Now, different groups in the society. With respect to our ulama, who are very dear to us, and therefore they are mentioned first, they have a leading role in a real Muslim community. Ulama have great position in the society. Although inna akramakum inda Allahi atqakum, but taqwa is more a matter of in the heart, and what brings society to the right direction is mostly coming from ulama. Of course, the condition is that they must be muttaqi, but we don't just bring muttaqi people ahead because they cannot lead the community without knowledge. So ulama have very important role, and if we have wise ulama, that would be excellent, who have taqwa and knowledge and wisdom. That would be very much a blessing. Okay, for ulama, what we need, we ask Allah for zuhd and nasiyah. Ulama should not be attached to dunya. It's not easy, but this is the condition of being true alim. And they should be doing nasiha. Nasiha means to wish the best and then give the best advice. Sometimes we use nasiha for advice, but in true sense, nasiha means to wish the best. So, taqwa is there, ilm is there, zuhd is there, and they wish the best and give the best advice, so that will sort out our problems in this area. Then we need to have muta'allamin, people who are learning in order to later become ulama, to share their knowledge. These muta'allamin need al-juhd wal-raghbah. They need to work hard and they need to be eager for learning. So you tell them you study, they study. You tell them you do mubahasa, they do it. You don't need to keep repeating, do mubahasa. You don't need to keep reminding them after deadlines. You just need to be careful about their health. Please don't study too much. Keep some time for your work, for your health. So much juhd and raghbah is there. When we went to Jose, we were being given advice. Don't study too much. Don't forget to have good food. Otherwise, you will have problem with the stomach. And actually, many people used to have such problems because they were so much studying that they found it wastage of time, for example, to spend time on cooking, whatever. So, inshallah, this increase generation by generation. Al-juhd wal-raghbah. Al-mustami'in. What do mustami'in need? Listeners. Inshallah, there are mustami'in. I hope we have good listeners. Now, we have many speakers, but not that many listeners. So, inshallah, if we have good listeners, we need two things in particular. There are many things, but in particular, al-ittiba' wal-maw'idha. To follow what you hear and to get lesson from maw'idha. Maw'idha means to give advice, to preach, but here means to accept, to welcome maw'idha. If I listen, as we say, it comes from one ear and goes from the other ear, there is no that much benefit. We have to listen carefully, and then those things which are useful, take a note, review, try to implement. وَعَلَى مَرْضَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And those who are ill, physically ill, of course, maybe even those who are spiritually ill. بِالشِّفَاءِ وَالرَّاحَةِ. We want healing for them and comfort. Even if you have a small illness, it doesn't let you enjoy your life. You are not comfortable. May Allah give shifa to all people who are ill. May Allah, inshallah, keep us healthy. It's a great, great ni'mah to be healthy. وَعَلَى مَوْتَاهُمْ بِالرَّأْفَةِ وَالرَّحْمَةِ. Please have your favor upon the dead people by kindness and mercy from you. And mashayikhna, those who are elderly members of community, we request for them waqar was sakina, to have a dignified approach to life and tranquility and serenity. Because sometimes when you become very old, there is a chance that you become too worried, too nervous, and sometimes even may develop a kind of behavior which looks not suitable for a well-grown person. Sometimes people who live for a long period of time, not everyone, many people keep dignity up to the last one, but sometimes they become like a child, sometimes. Or they become too worried, they cannot sit in a place for half an hour, they keep bothering themselves and other people. Sometimes these problems come. Inshallah, it's not that often and common, but this is why we ask for them al-waqara was-sakina. We want them to present themselves with dignity, and we have to also treat them with maximum dignity. Our elderly people, our elderly members of family and community should be in a very, very high position. We should look at them as our role models. So they should do certain things, we should do certain things, so that they remain in this position. وَعَلَى الشَّبَابِ بِالْإِنَابَةِ وَالتَّوْبَةِ. And what we want for our shabab, for our youth, is to return to you and repent. It shows that maybe it's not very much unexpected that they do some naughty things. But what is important is not to do it too much and to be obedient to Allah. So if they do something wrong, quickly they they ask for forgiveness. Of course, this can be, for example, not saying their salat awwal al-waqt, not doing, for example, some of the good things for the family, not being, sometimes maybe very obedient to their parents, things like this. Not that, na'udhu billah, they do mischief. Anyway, their tawbah is very important. وَعَلَى النِّسَاءِ, what we need for our women is haya, chastity, chastity, haya, a sense of shame, feeling positive shame, positive kind of protective or defensive, kind of shame. That because of that internal sense of haya, you don't do many things yourself automatically. Haya can be for men and women, of course, but for women is more fatal, more crucial, because they can lose a lot. For men is also very much important, but if they don't have haya, they can harm more others. They can harm themselves, but they can harm more others. So women have to be very careful with their haya. وَعَلَى الْأَغْنِيَاءِ بِالتَّوَاضُعِ وَالسَّعَةِ. Our rich people, we request for them to remain humble. So please give them humility and give them ability to share and include people, embrace people with their generosity. And for our poor people, we ask for patience and being content. Sometimes the reason for poverty, sometimes, not always, is that they are not content. And they waste or they demand more, they are not able to manage. Or if you give them something, they are not able to keep it. Some people, unfortunately, are used to just get money and spend, and they are not capable of looking after their finance. Some people really don't have anything, but some people, unfortunately, they don't know how to be managing their finance. وَعَلَى الْغُزَاةِ بِالنَّصْرِ وَالْغَلَبَةِ. And those who are fighting to defend Islam and Islamic causes and humanity, human rights, their dignity of their nation, their family, their women, their sacred things, please grant them victory and help and victory. And those who have been captives, please give them freedom and relaxation or comfort. And our umara, our rulers and leaders and commanders, please give them adl, justice, and shafaqa, and they should have kind treatment of people. Shafaqa is very close to mahabbat, love, but it comes mostly with a kind of softness of the heart. وعلى الرعية بالإنصاف, and citizens and people who are under umara, they should be fair. They should also observe what they expect from others and have good conduct. وبارك للحجاج والزوار في الزاد والنفقة, and please bless for Hujjaj and Zuwar their provision and the money that they have for expenditure. Bless them so that they would not run short of food or money, etc. وَقْضِ مَا أَوْجَبْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ الْحَجِّ, and please help them to complete what is necessary, or you have made it necessary from Hajj and Umrah, so that they can complete with all the success Hajj and Umrah. بِفَضْلِكَ وَرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ, because of your favor and your mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. Very beautiful dua, very comprehensive. So this was another sample. وَإِنِّي, Sheikh Muzaffar says, وَإِنِّي لَمُوسًا إِخْوَانِيَ الْقُرَّاءِ أَلَّا تَفُوتَهُمُ الْإِسْتِفَادَةَ من تلاوة هذه الأدعية. He says, I advise my brothers and sisters who are reading this text not to miss the opportunity of benefiting from reciting these du'as, but بشرط التدبر في معانيها ومراميها. But the condition is that they reflect on the meanings and what are meant in these du'as, and إحضار القلب والإقبال والتوجه إلى الله بخشوع وخضوع, and to have their heart present and to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with attention, with humility. وقراءتها كأنها من إنشائه للتعبير بها عن نفسه. You must read it as if you are making this a statement yourself, as if you are reading what you have written. مع اتباع الآداب التي ذكرت لها من طريقة آل البيت, with observing the manners of recitation of du'as or making du'as that we have received from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Like, for example, facing Qibla, having wuzu, starting with hamd and thana, forgiveness, etc., asking for forgiveness. فإن قراءتها بلا توجه من القلب صرف لقلقة في اللسان. If someone reads du'as without attention in the heart, it's just like repeating some words on your tongue, would not add to your ma'rifah. لا تزيد الإنسان معرفة ولا تقربه زلفى. It would not take you nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولا تكشف له مكروبا. None of your problems and difficulties will be solved. ولا يستجاب معه له دعاء. And no dua would be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and answered if there is no attention. Or I can say it's not guaranteed, it's not it's not likely to work. Maybe Allah would, sometimes He's so kind that even if we say something, He appreciates that at least we are reading this. It's not that He doesn't appreciate. But if you want to be more effective, you should mean what you say. إن الله عز وجل, Hadith says, إن الله عز وجل لا يستجيب الدعاء بظهر قلب الصاهن. Allah would not accept dua of one who is in the condition of sahw. He's not paying attention. He is not, his mind is not present. فَإِذَا دَعَوْتَ فَأَقْبِلْ بِقَلْبِكَ. When you make dua, come with your heart and then be sure that ijaba is there. استيقن بالإجابة, that Allah is going to accept. So the best is to read du'as and complete them and also reflect on them. If you cannot have both, then you have to find a balance. Not that, for example, you read one line of Dua Kumail every week. Not that you read all of it and you don't pay any attention to the meaning of even one sentence. You have to find a balance. And I think with good management over time, we can learn how to read all of it and still be mindful. It doesn't need, hours and hours. After several times reading and reflecting, little by little, you become familiar with it, and inshallah you can understand what you say. Okay, so now we go to the next part, which is Ad'iyatu Sahifat Sajjadiyya. But maybe we'll leave it for inshallah tomorrow. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sheikh, for another very informative night.
You're welcome.
We have time for one or two questions, if that's
Yes.
okay with you.
Sure.
So the first one is istikhara a form of dua? And if so, are there any steps or prerequisites one should take before taking the decision to complete an istikhara?
Yeah, this is very good question, but needs time. Basically, what we have in our hadith about istikhara is talabul khair, seeking goodness, means asking Allah for goodness. And it's a kind of dua for guidance, prayer for guidance. For example, for marriage, it's recommended you say 2 rakah prayer and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring the best for you, to bring good for you in marriage. Or sometimes, for example, it is said that you pray and then you talk to people and inshallah Allah will put in their mouth what is your maslahah. So what we have normally in our hadith about istikhara is dua and asking for particular for guidance. But then there are methods, practical methods for trying to find a specific answer. This has some also root. For example, we have in the case of Prophet Zachariah and the priest of the temple who wanted to decide who would be taking care of Lady Mary, that they draw their pens and then they try to realize, for example, whose pen is remaining and is separate from the rest of the pen, and that person would be in charge of upbringing of Lady Maryam. ما كنت لديهم إذ يختصمون أيهم يكفل مريم. So this was a kind of practical way of coming to a solution. Or we have قرعة القرعة لكل أمر مشكل. If you are interested in the course on القواعد الفقهية, the more detailed one in Hose, we had maybe 2-3 sessions on al-Qur'a, and the ending part was about istikhara and methods of istikhara, of course, as much as Sheikh Irwani in al-Qawaid al-Fiqh had discussed. The methods that people use for istikhara, this is of course something that we need to discuss, and I'm worried that if I enter into this, I cannot do justice. What I would like to emphasize is the main thing is to ask Allah for guidance. The main thing is not to rush in your judgment. The main thing is to think, to consult, to check your options carefully and leave aside anything which is displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then ask for guidance. Not rushing into istikhara, not bypassing thinking and asking and consultation. Istikhara comes at the last. as a practical way. As a dua comes first. But maybe inshallah another time we can discuss this more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The second question is, I am struggling with the concept of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam being a witness to our thoughts and actions.
Yeah.
Is he a witness to all 7 billion people alive now and more before us and after us, or just the true sincere believers? Is the reason he has this knowledge so that he can select appropriate helpers and maybe doesn't need to know about others who are unlikely to be helpful, or is it essential that he have this knowledge about everyone?
Yeah. This is a Quranic concept, and Sunni, Shia all have this in principle. If you are interested, you can refer to the book Lessons on Imama and Wilaya. We have discussed this, or also lectures about witness. We have discussed in those series, in the series on Imama and Wilaya. Also in Lessons on Islamic Beliefs, in the section about Imama, we have discussed. This is a Quranic concept. Many times Allah in the Quran has talked about these witnesses. لَنَنْزَعَنَّ مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ شَهِيدًا. From every nation we bring a witness. The only difference between our Sunni brothers and the Shia is that many Sunni brothers, or most of them, they say Rasulullah is the witness for all generations to come. They say Ha'ula ji'na bika ala ha'ula. They say Ha'ula means people of his generation, people of next generation, and the who come after them, up to the end of dunya. Rasulullah is the witness. But we say that no, witness should live among people, and I think it was here that I mentioned Quranic reference for that, the case of Prophet Isa alayhi salam, or the 2 ayah that Allah refers in the Quran to a witness who was there and he follows the Prophet, يَتْلُوهُ شَاهِدٌ مِّنْهُ or كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ وَمَنْ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ. So this is a Quranic idea, and they may say witness is only Rasulullah. We say no, every generation the witness has to be there with them. كنت عليهم شهيدا ما دمت فيهم, as long as I was with them. But the principle is the same. Isa alayhi salam was witness, Musa alayhi salam was witness, Ibrahim was witness. And this witness will be brought on the day of judgment and would give his testimony how many people who followed the truth and who didn't follow the truth. Therefore, he should know what is in their heart, because hypocrites also pretend that they have believed. So he cannot just base his judgment on what he hears from people or what he sees. He has to know also what is in the heart. And this is not the only concept that shows Hujjah of Allah should have knowledge. Also this ayah, قُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. This ayah also says that Rasulullah would see our actions, all our actions, and also mu'minun. Who are these mu'minun? It cannot be ordinary mu'minin. These mu'minun is like mu'minun that إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, which refers to imams. So with the blessing of Allah, بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, that witness is aware of what people of his time, his generation believe, practice. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as the Quran says, عَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. We should not be surprised if Allah teaches other people whom He chooses to have this kind of information.
Thank you, Sheikh. Very much appreciated.
May Allah bless you.